Hi guys, my name is Maria, and today I'll be refuting Michael's claim that is, the war on drugs has a negative impact on the United States. My opponent's secondary claims are the war on drugs only perpetrates the cycle of drug use, the war on drugs wastes a high amount of money, and the war on drugs damages U.S. prisons and law enforcement. So, although Michael provided facts and statistics of drug-related instances, he does not have enough evidence to justify that the war on drugs is the reason for the cycle of drug use or how it damages the U.S. prison system or how the money is being wasted. So, in his evidence for his first claim, he indicated how felonies have a hard time finding a job, but he does not explain how or the relationship between felonies and the cycle of drug use. Also, he did not clarify who those these felons are, and it is important to know who they are. For example, in some states, if someone is caught with a small amount of marijuana, they will most likely get a ticket according to the experiencedcriminallawyers.com. So if an individual is being charged as a felon, it is most likely because they are caught selling or growing large amounts of marijuana. Although felons have a hard time finding a job, California passed a measure requiring state agencies to delay asking the questions until after they determine that the applicants meet the basic requirements for the job, according to the Washington Post. This gives felons an opportunity to get a job. Also, some employers in Target, Walmart, and other places do not ask for criminal history for most jobs. Michael also used Portugal's decriminalization of drugs to explain how they have had moderate levels in drugs and HIV/AIDS cases. However, decriminalizing drugs does not work for everyone and does not function the same in different countries. For instance, according to the Denver Post, Colorado decriminalized weed but has had an increased number of weed use since then. If we were to decriminalize drugs would be more accessible to low-income individuals and adolescents, and there will be an increase of drug use, which would not stop the cycle of drug use. In addition, while Portugal enforces individual treatment, the United States doesn't. However, there are rehab programs, but it only helps those who seek for help. There's a small number of people who voluntarily go to rehab programs. According to the Open Society Foundation, an estimated 23.5 million Americans are currently addicted to alcohol and/or other drugs and need treatment and other supportive services. Unfortunately, only 2.6 million receive treatment they need. If we allow decriminalization, more individuals will engage in drug consumption and the number of people who seek help will not increase since decriminalization does not enforce individual treatment in the United States. So my response to his secondary claim is that, the war on drugs wastes a high amount of money. However, Michael's claim is that the war on drugs, so Michael does not really explain how the money is being wasted, so I think that was kind of an error. So the money is not being wasted since the money is being used to incarcerate inmates. And this money is going to inmate health care, operation, admissions, inmate support, and rehab programs such as academic education, vocational training, and substance abuse program according to the Legislative Analysis Office. Also, Michael provides an evidence that combination of federal, state, and local governments spend about $40 billion enforcing drug laws to his claim. However, the money being used for this purpose is not being wasted according to the Office of National Drug Control Policy. The money is being used to prevent drug use in our communities, breaking the cycle of drug use, crime, and incarceration, and disrupting domestic drug trafficking and production. This indicates that the money is not being wasted. So, to my response to the third claim, that is, the war on drugs damages U.S. prison and law enforcement. Furthermore, in Michael's third claim, he tried to support his claim by using the following evidence found in drugsense.org, a website whose collective mission is to end drug prohibition. In 2009, law enforcement arrested more for drug violation than any other offense. Although this information is true, this website is biased and fails to explain who these drug offenders are. In addition to the evidence the applicant provided, he kind of misread the information because it said of the 230 million global illegal drug users, 10% are considered problematic, yet over 50% of U.S. inmates were charged for drugs. He states how many individuals consume illegal drugs and make it seem like half of 230 million global illegal drug users are inmates who are charged for drugs. In the article he cited, it said the largest prison population in the world with 2.3 million behind the bars, 500,000 of those are incarcerated for a drug law violation. Almost all drug offenses are related to drug trafficking, and a study conducted by the U.S. Department of Justice was based on 9,678 offenders in federal prison at the fiscal year 2012, who were sentenced on the new U.S. District Court commitment and whose most serious offense was a drug offense. However, 49.9% of those convictions in prison were due to drug trafficking, and 0.1 was for possession and 0.05 for other reasons. This means that only, most of it was people who were trafficking drugs, not because they were smoking pot, on a regular basis, in the weekend. So in conclusion, the consumption of drugs will never end. However, I have showed you how the war on drugs is not the reason why there is a cycle of drug use. I also showed you that the war on drugs does not waste money, but spend money to prevent drug use in our communities. Lastly, I showed you how the war on drugs helps keep drug traffickers out of our daily lives.
Right, Maria, you started off well identifying the claim and the supporting points. You got to the first point and you dive right in, challenging some of the assumptions that are being made there. I thought that was okay. The notion that people can continue to be employed after having a felony conviction is okay, that there are state rules that limit the inquiry into this, that's okay. So the impact on this cycle, for instance, I think is a little bit vague from the advocate's point of view. I do think that you have evidence later on that you refer to when we're talking about how much money is spent, that a lot of the money is spent for trying to stop this cycle, the very cycle that the advocate's talking about on the first point. So I think that you could probably make reference to some of that information. There's a discussion of decriminalization, and you suggest that it really produces other problems that come along. That's a reasonable counterclaim on that particular point. And then you basically try to diminish the idea that rehabilitation is going to be accessible to all these people by showing how many people there are that have these kinds of problems, how few seek it. And I think the inference that you're making here is that the only reason that they end up seeking it is if they are pushed into doing so. But that's not a very clear argument that you've got there. I think it's a good argument, but it's not one that's explained as neatly as it needs to be. And so there's a little bit of a problem there. I found the same kind of problem at the end of the presentation where you were trying to diminish the advocate's statistics on people in prison, where I think you've got a good argument, but your explanation of it is not as strong as it could be. One of the things that I think has happened is that you are reading your arguments that you've written down here instead of explaining them to the audience. And this is a delivery issue that results. If you were a little bit more like you were in the summary of your arguments, I think your position would be clearer. As it is, you've kind of gotten this idea in your head, well, I've written it down this particular way, I need to present it this way, and the way you've written it is not as clear as it needs to be for the audience. Although somebody listening closely might be able to pick up on it, I think you need to do a little bit more work to make that clearer to the audience. I did think that you had good statistical information on that last point especially. All right, thank you.